Hey guys, welcome back to another marketing training video. Now in this video, I want to walk you through the online marketing mistakes that new entrepreneurs make. These are marketing mistakes that are hurting businesses, yet so many entrepreneurs aren't even aware of them. So I've selected 11 online marketing mistakes to avoid, and I'll go through them in depth. So the first online marketing mistake that I see new entrepreneurs make is not knowing exactly who they're selling their product or service to. A lot of times people get so excited with the product or the service that they have in mind, and then they start to promote it. Now they don't know who they are selling to. So what happens? They try to sell it to everyone. Maybe you aren't aware they got to select a target audience, your ideal paying customer, or maybe you're afraid of narrowing down who your ideal paying customer is because you don't want to exclude anyone. And that's a common thinking, but it's also a wrong thinking. The reason why is because when you want to sell to everyone, right? And when you want to appeal to everyone so that you get everyone to buy, you become irrelevant. There isn't relevancy to anyone at all. What might appeal to me might not appeal to you. And so if you don't know who your ideal target audience is, if you don't know exactly who you're selling to, you start to speak to everyone. And in the end, no one feels like your product or your service is meant for them. So the very first thing you gotta make sure that you do is to know exactly who you are targeting as your ideal paying customer. Now, when it comes to figuring out who your ideal paying customer is, I like to think of this example, which is the big fish in a small pond example versus a small fish in a big pond example. A lot of people try to be the small fish in a big pond, and what that means is they try to target a huge audience, right? So maybe they go in and they try to say this product or this service is meant for all entrepreneurs, right? A big pond. There are a lot of entrepreneurs in this world. Now, instead, what you want to think about is how can you be the big fish in a small pond? So instead of saying, I want to target all entrepreneurs, now you say, I want to target all new women entrepreneurs who might be moms, right? That is a very, very small pond, a much smaller pond than saying all entrepreneurs. And the reason why this is so important is because when you are a big fish in a small pond, it is so much easier to sell your product or your service to your ideal paying customer because you can easily start speaking to your ideal paying customer because it's a small group of people. So that is mistake number one. The second mistake is selling the features of your product or your service. What does that mean? That means that when you're selling and you're marketing your product or your service, you're talking about how awesome this product or service is. It's got A, B, C, it does this, that, and all that stuff. Now, here's what you need to know about this cardinal mistake. People don't buy based on the features of your product or your service. We like to think it is, but they don't. Instead, what people buy is the transformation that your product or your service gives them. So when you're selling, whether that's on your website, on your social media posts, and your content, on your videos, you're not only talking about the features that your product or your service has. Instead, what you want to talk about is the transformation, how your product or your service gets them from a before state, right, before buying or using your product or your service, to an after state, after using or buying your product or your service. Now, the third online marketing mistake that new entrepreneurs make is no cohesive branding. So what is cohesive branding? Cohesive branding is basically having the same font, colors, tone of voice across all of your marketing materials, across your website, your social media, your video, your blog articles, the way you present yourself, everything is cohesive. And the reason why this is important is because we like to say don't judge a book by its cover. However, people do judge from the first impression. And the very first impression you want to give people is a good impression, right? And it's really hard to give someone a good impression if you are not branding your product or service cohesively, uniformly across all of your materials, right? So you want to make sure that you have cohesive branding, so same color, same font, same tone of voice, across all of your touch points and across all of your materials. Now, the fourth online marketing mistake that new entrepreneurs make is trying to market everywhere. This is a huge mistake that I see a lot of entrepreneurs make when they're starting out with marketing. They look at what other entrepreneurs are doing on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, podcasting, so on and so forth. And then they assume that they've got to also do the same, right? Especially when you look at entrepreneurs like Gary Vee, for example, Tony Robbins, for example. These are entrepreneurs that are creating content on many platforms. One of the mistakes that I see a lot of entrepreneurs make is they feel the pressure to also create content and have presence on every single platform. That is an online marketing mistake to avoid. You don't want to be marketing everywhere, especially when you are new to being an entrepreneur or if you don't have a team to help you. We often forget that entrepreneurs like Gary Vee or Tony Robbins, they've got a huge team creating content for them. They're not one person or two people creating content across all of these platforms. So we don't want to model the way that we market like them, right? So we got to make sure that we're not marketing everywhere. What I want you to do instead is to think about where your ideal paying customer is hanging out online, and then think about marketing on that platform first. So if they're hanging out on LinkedIn, if you are a B2B company and you know that your audience are hanging out on LinkedIn, then you want to start focusing on LinkedIn first, right? You don't need to have a presence on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. You just got to focus on one marketing channel first. Once you get good at it, once you're seeing results from it, then you can move on to the second marketing channel. Now, the fifth online marketing mistake that I see new entrepreneurs make is thinking that paid ads will get them from zero to hero. A lot of new entrepreneurs, when they create a new product, a new service, they start a new business, the first thing that they do is to run paid ads to their website, to their Shopify store, to wherever they sell their products and services. Now, that is not a wrong thing to do, right? Running paid ads is not wrong. However, having the mindset and the assumption that paid ads will get you from zero sales to a whole bunch of sales to become a millionaire overnight, that's where the mistake is, okay? Paid ads can only amplify things. So if you have a new product or a new service and you don't know if your product or service is gonna sell well, running paid ads to it will not make it sell more or sell better if there isn't a good product market fit. So the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you've got a good product market fit. You want to make sure that people are already buying your product or service, people are loving it, and then you use paid ads as the fuel to grow and explode it. And then number 6 is emails. Not collecting emails. A lot of new entrepreneurs, they forget about growing their list, or they don't realize how important list building is. When you start a new online business, one of the most important online marketing thing that you gotta do is to make sure that you are capturing emails as often as possible. That is across touch points like your website, your social media content, this YouTube video, your podcast, whatever you're doing, your paid ads, so on and so forth, any collaborations. You want to make sure that you are capturing leads. And the reason why that's important is very often people don't buy from the first touch, right? They don't buy when they see your ad for the first time. They don't buy when they see your content for the first time. So you need some way to nurture them and get them closer to buying the product or service from you. And so by collecting their email, you can then start to create this nurturing process for them, right? So that eventually down the road, with enough nurturing, building up that trust in the relationship, they will then start to buy from you. So make sure that you are collecting emails on your website. Make sure that you're collecting emails by giving away lead magnets, all right? Now, number 7 is not being consistent with marketing. When it comes to marketing, like everything in business, consistency is key. It is no point trying to market on Facebook for 1 month and then totally just going silent and coming back 6 months later, or trying to market on LinkedIn and then you disappear for a long time and then coming back, right? The key to all online marketing success, the best practices of online marketing is consistency. If you decide that YouTube is the best place to reach your ideal paying customers, then you want to make sure that you are consistently creating videos on YouTube, right? If you think that creating posts on Instagram is the way to reach your ideal paying customers, then you want to make sure that you have a consistent schedule for Instagram so that you're not just posting 1 week and then, 3 weeks down the road, you post another post, all right? So you got to make sure that when it comes to online marketing, consistency is key. Now, mistake number 8 is not automating your marketing, all right? When it comes to running an online business and when it comes to online marketing, we are always trying to find the most efficient way to run it. Within online marketing, there are many ways to automate it. There are ways to automate your social media marketing. There are ways to automate your email marketing. There are ways to automate your sales process. There are ways to automate almost every single part of your business. The key for you is, as you are a new entrepreneur, you want to think about ways that you can actually include automation into your online marketing so that you try to avoid doing so much manual one-on-one work. So an example is, instead of manually posting on Instagram every time you have to post on Instagram, think about what automation tool you can use to post automatically on social media, right? There are tools out there like Buffer, Hootsuite, so on and so forth. Go figure out which tool works best for you when it comes to marketing automation. Now, mistake number 9, online marketing mistakes that new entrepreneurs make, is not tracking your numbers. This is so important. When it comes to marketing, you want to make sure that you always know your numbers, right? You want to know things like click-through rate. For example, how many people are clicking through, like the percentage. When you track your numbers, when you track what's happening in your marketing, in your funnel, and your sales, you start to have a better sense if your marketing efforts are working or not. So always make sure that you are tracking your numbers. Now, online marketing mistake number 10 is not marketing to the different funnel stages. So I'm going to draw a diagram for you here. All right, this is the typical funnel, the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. Now, the top of the funnel is awareness. Now, in the awareness stage, you are creating content, you're marketing to people who might not be aware that they even have a problem that your product or service can solve, right? So these are the people that you need to first create content and market to them, so that they are aware that they've got a problem, and then they're aware that you exist. So for example, you might want to create content. How do you know if your Instagram marketing is working or not? A lot of people might not realize that their Instagram marketing isn't working. So lack of awareness. And then when you create this content, you're educating them if their Instagram marketing is working or not. Let's say if you are an Instagram marketer, right? So creating awareness content, so awareness marketing. Now, the middle of the funnel. So here you want to create content like the different Instagram marketing strategies out there to grow the followers. Now, at the bottom here, this is where you want to create content that helps them to select you. So you want to create content like, what's the difference between you versus the rest? What makes you special? You want to create case study content, white paper content. Content basically now says why you. So why pick you? Why pick your company? So these are the different content across the different funnel stages. A lot of times people only create content that is at the bottom. So why me? Like, why you need my service? But people might not even be aware that they've got a problem that your service can help them with. So we got to be aware of the different funnel stages, and you want to make sure that you're creating content for the audience in each of the funnel stages. So I hope you found this online marketing training video useful in helping you identify the online marketing mistakes that you might be making as a new entrepreneur. Now let me know in the comments below if you've identified making any of these online marketing mistakes, or if you got a question about today's video. Now in the meantime, as you wait for my next video, don't forget to go check out this video to learn more about online marketing and online business. Alright, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video.